Good morning, everyone. Happy, Tuesday? And welcome to episode number 51 of the Still City Insider Podcast. It's a new year. It's 2023. I'm one of your hosts alongside Jim Wexell. My name's Jeremy Hritz, by the way. And we're so excited to talk to you about the Steelers' big win over the Baltimore Ravens. Jim, I can't wait to hear your takes today on this weekend's game.
Oh man, my takes, they're just incredible. They're 8-8. They beat the Ravens, the number 3 defense in the NFL. And so let's complain about the Steelers.
Let's do it. Let's do it. And they have a very, very small chance. Well, maybe a bigger chance than they had last week of getting into the postseason. They obviously have to take care of business with the Cleveland Browns, but then they're going to need the Bills to defeat the Patriots. And then the Jets are going to have to defeat the Dolphins. But we'll get into all that. But most importantly, Jim, how was your new year?
It was great.
It was great. Any resolutions or anything this year?
Yeah. Okay, there is one. All these years I've been brushing and then flossing. Somebody said that you floss before you brush, and I can't believe I didn't know that. So that's my resolution.
All right. Hey, hygiene, that's wonderful. And yes, it's floss before brush.
I never knew that. I just, okay. So
Yeah.
we're 8-8 and we move on. What's interesting is what's going to go on with the Bills. See, I don't buy this percentage was that low. I don't think it's that low. I don't think it's that difficult to see the Bills beating New England or Miami losing. Are they down to their third, fourth string quarterback? What do they have? And who are they playing? The Jets? This is when teams like the Jets win, when nothing matters and it's a division game. And where's it at? New York?
It's in Miami.
Oh, okay.
Miami, yeah.
That'll make it a little more difficult, but still, who's quarterbacking Miami?
I know. I think they're on their third stringer, and I read somewhere that potentially Joe Flacco could be the quarterback for the Jets. How the irony there? What a storyline!
Yeah. So, why is this so hard to believe? And then beating the Browns. Now I know that my perception of the Browns changed a little bit because they played so well last week, and it looks like the quarterback's playing well. But before that, I had envisioned them firing their coach right after a Steelers game again. Looking down in the press box at the poor Cleveland writers. They can't just finish the year by writing football. Now they got to do the story about how the owner just fired the coach in the locker room. I saw that happening. So the one fly in the ointment had been, will Buffalo need the game? Well, that's now all up in the air after last night. I don't know how the NFL is going to proceed, and it's not a Ryan Shazier kind of setback, where the Steelers were just gutted because it looks like Hamlin's going to recover, right? As far as I'm reading.
Yeah.
And resume playing, I guess. I mean, we're just guessing
here. Yeah. Definitely a scary moment last night.
It was scary, and it's going to be scary for another day or two, but I don't know that, the Ryan Shazier thing, man, it was really hard for the players to continue on.
Yeah.
And focus. So who knows what is going to happen with the Bills, but my feeling is, and I kind of want to, I kind of want to make Buffalo the favorite to win the Super Bowl now with just because of the storyline. Buffalo, they lost 4 consecutive Super Bowls, and you wonder how those people could survive all of that. And then, this year with the huge storms they've been hit with and this incident last night, it's almost like the night is blackest before the dawn. It almost feels like Buffalo is being set up to win it all because of all of this just hideous stuff that's happening to those poor people up there.
Yeah.
So anyway, I have a feeling they're going to need this game, and they're going to win this game. And I think the most difficult of the three is going to be the Steelers beating the Browns.
Yeah.
So,
I mean,
in my opinion, it's in their hands.
they had troubles that first contest. Now, I know it was a Thursday night early on in the season, but they couldn't get a hand on Nick Chubb, and he just ran through the Steelers defense. But before we get into preview, go ahead.
Do you think any running game scares them now?
Probably not. I'm still not convinced that they're better, that they're 100% corrected. I mean, they still gave up 120 yards, albeit to a strong Baltimore team. But
I mean, they've played Baltimore, Atlanta, Carolina, and Baltimore again. I mean, I think they're ready for any running game that anyone has to offer.
They've seen it. Yeah.
No doubt. We don't need to have first round picks at every freaking position.
I'm just saying I think that they're improved, they're better, but I still think that they could be had for some yards there. So I definitely see some improvement. But let's get into that. Let's get into the Baltimore game. And let's start there on the defensive side of the ball. They held Baltimore to 13 points. They did much better against the run, as you alluded to earlier, than they did in that first contest. And, different pairing there at inside linebacker with Robert Spillane and Mark Robinson. The rookie gets his first start. What was your takeaway from the defense in this game versus the Ravens?
It's funny. Somebody said the Steelers used a high school defense to stop the Ravens. Well, the Ravens use a high school offense. I mean, they just put the biggest guy at fullback and use 8 offensive linemen. So, but the thing that worked is that it's a physical. They're stronger than everybody, and I know Tyler Huntley can't throw worth diddly, and he's looking worse and worse every time I see him. But that offense worked the last time, so they used they countered with the high school defense, the old 6-2, actually a 4-4-3. I loved it. That was old school football. I loved it.
Yeah. And so just because it's a high school defense doesn't mean that it can't be effective,
Of course, there are more intricacies involved than that. And Robinson was, that took some guts to use him. It's funny. I don't know if it was Jeff Schwartz, one of the experts I follow on Twitter, said this guy's like James Harrison, only plays middle linebacker. I mean, you guys got to pull out my stuff from the spring. I said, this guy runs like Harrison, hits like Harrison, but if he, of course, is not Harrison, doesn't have that kind of leverage, that kind of pure strength to rush the passer, but he's an inside backer. So I love that. And Spillane looked really good too.
Yeah.
He really did.
Yeah.
So it took some guts for the Steelers to say, okay, Devin, that's enough. And if Miles Jack had remained healthy, who knows if Devin would have even played.
Yeah. And that's probably the writing on the wall for after this season. They're not going to extend Devin's contract. I can't see that happening. But the thing about Robinson that stood out to me is just his burst. Whenever he commits to going after the ball carry, it's almost instantaneous. And you'd have to imagine getting this year under his belt and progressing next year. He could be, a nice role player in this defense. I don't know if I'd say starter, but God, he looks explosive.
Well, I mean, it's a process. Let him. I'm not going to say he's not going to be a starter.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that you don't draft a guy because of him.
Mm.
I mean, they need some help there, but I don't know. You don't need early help. Yeah. I would hope that they're done with that philosophy of drafting inside linebackers in the first round. There are teams like the Rams that just won the Super Bowl. That's a drafting no for them. They will not take an inside linebacker in the first 3 rounds.
Yeah. So defensively, again, the big story was just the team coming up with big plays. Huntley didn't play well, but really the story of this game was the offense, and it's Kenny Pickett. We'll get to him, but the offensive line dominated, capital D, the Baltimore Ravens defense, something that I didn't see coming, but the push that they were getting was incredible. And both Harris and Jaylen Warren played extremely well. The team almost hit 200 yards rushing. I think they had 198 yards. Were you impressed with the offensive line?
Oh, you had to be, and I didn't include it in my notes column. I'm just excited that a rookie quarterback is playing in such big games and playing well and directing them to clutch drives back to back.
Yeah.
And even Kenny said, and I asked him, I said, what a guy. Tomlin said you guys grew up. Do you feel it? You've had a couple of days to marinate on it. Do you feel it? He goes, yeah, but I got to, doesn't mean anything to me. I got to do it again. I got to get ready to do it again. And he did it again. So he had a perfect mindset coming into this. I just like everything about him except his deep ball touch.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm spoiled because I watched Roethlisberger practice for 18 years.
Yeah.
And it's just not there, and it's not going to be there for the kid. He's going to hit a few. I mean, he's got a guy in Pickens. I'm going to get Pickens confused forever.
Yeah.
So that's going to be a problem. And don't, I know you hate the coordinator, but chump plays with a rookie quarterback and a 12 second-year guys on the offense. I mean, I'm counting guys like Daniels and Cole as first and second year Steelers. Everybody's new. Coordinator's in his second year. The receivers coach is new. The tight ends coach is new. The offensive line coach is new. This is a brand new offense, and it's going to take time to get what everybody wants. Is we want bigger plays now, and you don't have the quarterback like Ben that can scare a defense into not just setting up big plays, but setting up intermediate plays off of the threat of big plays. Mm-hmm. So that's going to be a forever problem, but there's a lot to really like. And as you said, the offensive line and the running game, that's what we've wanted. People want Pickett in the shotgun and we spread it out and get chunk plays and stop with the high school offense. But do we want to go back to 2002, 2003 again with Tommy Maddox and Amos Zaraway? And all the pass blocking, that's not Pittsburgh. It just can't be Pittsburgh. It's been proven it's not Pittsburgh. Yeah. This is where it starts, and it's starting. I tell you, I'll bet any money they're not firing the offensive coordinator.
I mean, I've been highly critical of Matt Canada, and I'll eat some of my words, not saying that it's been perfect, but 6-2 following the bye. The biggest thing for me was to get that running game going. And it's going, and it is. It's so physical. I felt like I was watching now Najee Harris isn't the bust, but just seeking out the contact and dishing it out and just the nice compliment that Jaylen Warren provides. It's beautiful.
It is. It really is. Other things about Najee, pulling Pickett out of one hole that wasn't working and pushing him into another one was one of the most beautiful things I've seen in a long, long time. That was great.
That was cool.
And the touchdown catch, we all want to put it on Pickett. But I loved what Tomlin said. Two competitive guys who were focused on finishing. And that's been a problem, right?
Yeah.
And I know this is the Ravens. And let's pull back a little bit on running that well against a team without a Hall of Fame tackle who was injured. Calais Campbell.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and their nose tackle has been hurt all year too. So their two studs in the interior were gone. Still, they have two excellent inside linebackers, and those two replacements aren't bad. And everybody deals with injuries. And yes, Tyler Huntley's a backup quarterback, but get a better backup quarterback. The Steelers have two better backup quarterbacks than Huntley by millions of miles better than Tyler Huntley.
Yeah.
And so the Ravens are going to have a problem there if they continue. If they're going to franchise Lamar Jackson and continue with this offense, it's fun when it's working, but you got to you want to get T. Martin to be your backup quarterback just because he can run a little bit. But he can't actually run. Huntley really isn't that kind of runner at all. Pickett may even have a better 40 time than Huntley.
Yeah. Yeah, and one thing I just want to hit on again is just the way in which this team won. The was 57 seconds left on the clock, hostile territory in Baltimore. They're playing for the ability to win the AFC North the following week in Cincinnati. They have to go to Cincinnati. If they win 2 in a row, they win the AFC North. Rookie quarterback, second-year running back, young offensive line, young receivers, and they somehow make the play. And we talked, and you talked all year about just the growth and development of this team. But you look at guys like Harris, Pickett, George Pickens, Pat Fryermuth. I think I got it right that time. But these guys just continue to get better and gel and grow. I don't want to get too far ahead of myself here, but you have to, even regardless of what happens this year, next week with the postseason, you have to feel good about 2023.
I know they only scored 16 points, but it was against the NFL's number 3 defense in points allowed. They were playing at home in a game they needed in prime time. And this wasn't Steeler Nation taking over that stadium either. This was a tough, gut-earned win.
Yeah.
And all those young guys you mentioned, there were 6 rookies in the front line. I'm not counting Connor Hayward as a starter, but he was on that first series doing a lot of things. I know he played 17% of the snaps. It seemed like more, but that's the 6th rookie. Jalen Warren. Now, Gunnar Olszewski, somebody's been in his ear about blocking. He took out 3 Ravens on that 30-yard run by Warren.
Wow.
Miles Boykin, he's in there blocking all the time. I mean, all of these guys are really busting it, and that goes to the head coach. We can argue about the coordinator, and they did only score 16 points, and there is a problem with getting bigger plays, but the head coach has kept this team focused. And what did Tomlin say to Pickett as he walked off the field? What's that going to do for Kenny Pickett?
Oh, yeah.
I've had coaches that I'm that kind of guy. I've always needed that kind of. I'm an attaboy guy. I need that. I don't need, well, let's see what you can do next week. Okay, I get all that. Keep your head, keep grounded, and stay focused. But there's something about being jacked up by your knowing that your head coach is proud of you, and that's cool. And there's also the Steelers are 0-1 after Marcus Allen and Mike Tomlin dance on TikTok. So that's a worry. But and again, an unidentified player off the bench cost them 15 yards. This one wasn't as bad as last week when Terrell Edmonds came off the bench. I don't know who came off the bench this time, but I mean, come on, people. Let's learn.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, definitely biggest win of the season, the signature win of Kenny Pickett's young career so far. And now the attention shifts over to the Cleveland Browns, who have to come to Pittsburgh. And I don't know if they announced the time of the game yet. It was TBD. I don't know if that's been released yet, but they're a playoff at 1 p.m. Okay. 1 p.m. playoff implications. They have to win. The Bills need to beat the Pats. The Jets have to beat the Dolphins. Jim, any gut feeling, intuition, or logic that you want to share here of how you see this transpiring next weekend?
Well, I think Cleveland really kind of rectified a sinking situation, and they would love to come in here and be a spoiler. And I think they have a good coach. I was surprised at the rumblings about getting rid of him. I know they're playing poor. They were playing poorly up until last week. So I think he's a good coach. I think he can rectify the situation. I think they have a good quarterback. They have a great running game. I don't know what they have as a receiver right now. To you fantasy guys out there know this stuff better than me, but they're going to be a dangerous team, and the Steelers have to come back down to earth after 2 emotional wins right in a row. They're going to need a stadium full of jacked up people, which they really didn't have the last time out. Oakland, that was a half-filled stadium.
Yeah.
So it'll be a tough game, and they still have a rookie quarterback, even though you have to like what you see. You just have to. It's about time everybody's catching up on this. I mean, I think we've liked him since the preseason.
Mm-hmm.
But they do have a running game now, and they have an offensive line, and it's exciting, and they're relatively healthy. And so I can't make a prediction. I haven't done my handicapping yet, uh, I did take I teased the over in the Rose Bowl with the Browns plus 9.5. I mean, the Steelers were getting 2 or 2.5 against the Ravens.
Mm-hmm.
Week before, the Raiders were getting 2.5. These Steelers just aren't going to blow people out. So I've already taken the Browns plus, I think, 10, something like that, on a teaser. So, but not now that I have that open, I can come back and take the Steelers on the other side and open up a big middle.
Yeah,
we're getting a little technical here.
Man,
you're a day trader.
But
this is day trading with football.
They're kind of the same, but not really.
Well, you're messing with numbers. You're trying to minimize risk.
Yes,
minimize risk. Open up big holes, but it's just they're not going to blow people out. So I just wanted to tell you I've already taken the Browns with double digits.
Okay.
In what probably will be a cold game and a nervous game for the Steelers and a let it all hang out kind of attitude with Cleveland.
And you know what? We have not seen this play yet. And I've been calling for it all season. We have not seen the fake punt from Presley Harvin. We didn't see it last year. We didn't see it this year. The pass.
You guys got to give up on this. He threw one pass in college football. He was a midget league quarterback. They don't want him handling the ball. He's overweight. I mean, this is when
come on, Jim, it's no fun.
No, when the kicker threw a fake field goal and the kicker got blasted because he had to scramble, everybody blasted the play call, which the exact same play worked 2 years earlier, and everybody loved the play call. They want Presley Harvin to run it. That dude is what, 300 pounds? It's not 300 pounds of Cam Hayward in shape.
It's like Jared Lorenzen. Remember him for the Giants several years back? That big boy to play quarterback for the Giants.
Well, but he played the position. This guy, you're asking an out of shape 300-pounder. Come on.
And you just call Presley Harvin out of shape. Stuff. He's gonna talk to you on Twitter. Anyway, that's gonna wrap up episode number 51. Hopefully, we're talking to everyone next week about a Steelers win over the Browns and a postseason berth. And if not, there's still a lot of optimism heading into next season. Please check out Jim's work at the Still City Insider. Give him a follow on Twitter at Jim Wexell. You can check out my work at thestillstudy.com. Give me a follow at Still Study. Hit the like button, subscribe. We got a bunch of new subscribers last week. Thank you so much. Continue to share with your family and friends, and we'll see you next week. Jim, have a good one.
I'm glad we're all having a happy new year. So we'll let it continue.
Let's keep it going. Thanks, everybody.
See you, Jeremy.